Welcome back, guys. Welcome back. Welcome back. So it took forever for us to find a game. Hopefully, this guy plays. And we are hoping for a more conventional game. Now, I said that in the lower elos that I didn't want to play what I would normally play against this. So let's just play. He wants to play Queen's Pawn, so we'll play Queen's Pawn as well. Um, if I play this and he takes, then I go here. I get the full center. He plays that. I go here. He pushes. I don't think there's any reason to go crazy. So let's do this. That's defended. And let's just build a nice little structure. I'm going to play this so that my bishop has a retreating square. And I'll play that. Now I'm going to play this. Now I'm going to play this. Go ahead and play that. So now, this is the idea, right? But remember, if I played here, and he takes, I would take. But then he breaks my structure. So let's just drop back. I made the cubby hole for a reason, so let's use it. And also, this knight is not here to jump back into the center of the board if I take this way. Right? It has to be a pawn. He wants to come in and take the bishop. We're not just going to hand that over. So let's go ahead and we'll play... Let's play here. Just put pressure here. Now, this knight, by the way, is undefended. You've got an undefended piece here. This also hangs this pawn. I think that this is the move because it targets this guy here. He's undefended. It's a free pawn. I think that's a good move. I should castle. But I like this better. And that's so. Look at these knights, right? He had two knights on the center of out in the center of the board there. That just wasn't doing a lot. They're just not doing a lot. Now, if I play here, he could take that with a pin. But I think since we're going to lose this bishop anyway, that we should do it on our terms. Take, and then just castle, right? Or what if we done something like this? I think you might just be getting a little fancy with it. So let's castle. So we want a pawn out of that. So I could play this and then push for that. Force that guy away. I would like to play here, but I don't want to line up against that rook. If he plays that, let's put a rook on the open file. We'll just put a rook on the open file. We don't have to win this game in 5 moves here or anything. So, Now, if I take here, this is the thing. If I take this and he recaptures, first of all, he's isolated the pawn. But second of all, this knight is a key defender of the king. So I am going to take. I am going to take. I could play here, but what do I do against that? Probably just take. I'm thinking about this to connect these rooks. Yeah, let's go ahead and do that. So now I have the open file. You're almost setting yourself up for a Greek gift here, dude. There's no value in anything like that. So let's just keep it simple, man. Let's just keep it simple. Knight in the center. If he wants to weaken his position like that, I think that's okay. If I play this and he came over, that, he comes back, that. I can't play that. So let's do this. Let's just centralize the knight. This guy is playing well. This guy's doing well. Now this is also a consideration here. Could try to work that guy into here. I could play this and try to force him to make some weaknesses. Here, here, here. I'd like to get it here, but I don't think that I can. So I'm going to play this. I'm threatening to play checkmate. And this is going to force him to make some type of a concession on the king side. So if I play here, and he does this, see, from here, I don't like that he could just simply do that and then I get chased away. So let's go ahead. We forced him to make a concession. So let's go ahead and come back. Pressure the queen steps up to here. Then I would have this forking those two guys. And that light square would be an ideal place for me to try to attack him. So if I play this, that's forced. Here, something like that. Takes and takes. Yeah, let's go for this. Let's try to get that bishop. It's not the best bishop in the world. However, he's got a lot of light squared weaknesses here. Does he have any kind of tricks? I worry about these guys being undefended. Yeah, and then we've got a mistake here. That's forced. That's a check. And now I think you just do this. Keep it simple. We're going to offer the trade because we're at material now. So this guy played well. This guy really did play well. Cut that king off the best we can. And this is a recurring theme here, man. If I get the opportunity to cut the king off, I'm going to cut the king off. Right? That's kind of a key end game idea. So let's play here. Just take these pawns, man. Just take some pawns. Do this. And that. Now, the king is cut off. This is defended, which means the king cannot go past this, right? So he's restricted to these squares, right? So that means whenever we promote over here, it's important that that's protected. When this promotes, it's checkmate. It's a ladder mate. So that's the idea behind cutting the king off. You want to get the king cut off and try to, work around him being cut off, right? So keep him cut off, try to take the pawns, whatever you need to do, and then, this is the way I like to do it, and then try to get a promotion like this. So, good game. Let's have a look at the analysis and see how we done. So he played at 74% accuracy. He didn't have any blunders, though. No blunders, no mistakes. Like I said, he played really well until the very end of the game. We just provoked that weakness and then was ultimately able to to exploit it. Now, also in these queen's pawn positions, you want to get this pawn out, and kind of the key idea is if this guy comes out, and let's say I play here, well, now your queen comes down and he targets this, and it's not terribly easy to defend this and this, right? Because if your queen comes over, it's under fire here, plus this pawn, right? You're under a lot of pressure. So that's the reason you want to get your C pawn out in front of the knight. Solidify that pawn chain. Drop back. And this, you know, you don't want to take that because it lets me just develop with tempo. And now that knight's just kind of silly over there. Yeah. I mean, we played that just right. Castle, yeah. Rook on the open file, that's our inaccuracy. Okay. And, I mean, we're ahead, right? It's -3. But this guy really did play well. He's got an isolated couple of isolated pawns. He's lost a couple of pawns, I think, maybe one or two. But nothing egregious. Like, he's not done anything crazy. All of his stuff over there is defended, and he's done a good job of holding everything together. And I do this, threatening mate, to force him to make a weakness. And then I just come home. And that weakness is ultimately, yeah, what we exploited. And there's the ball game. It's that, you know, it's that, and again, going back here, the reason that I wanted this bishop is because I wanted control of these light squares without the bishop challenging me. Because when you push this pawn, and this is something that I didn't understand when I was fairly new as well, is the idea of these color complexes. When you have like say you have a weak color complex, like, oh, you've weakened the light squares. Well, what does that mean? What does that mean? Because people talk about that like, you know, that you're just born with that knowledge, right? Well, what that actually means is these squares are weak, which means I could get a piece, just like I do in a minute, onto this square. Because your light squares are weak. So how do you exploit those weaknesses? Well, ideally, you get rid of the bishop that he would. That's the reason when you fianchetto, you put your bishop in here, and they say, make sure you don't trade this off. Because you have created these weaknesses, but your bishop controls them. But in this scenario, I got rid of his light squared bishop, which he would love to use to guard these weaknesses, but I traded off. Got rid of the guy that is patrolling or controlling these light squares, and I immediately target him. And then he makes a mistake, and it's, you know, it's over from here, right? You lose the rook, and then you offer the queen trade, which he takes, whatever. So when you see that kind of, you know, appear in your game, these weak squares like this, hopefully, you know, you guys can see that and apply this logic in your game, and you know, you learn something there. But in this end game, I mean, this isn't the cleanest conversion. I don't think that this is, you know, textbook. But is this beginner friendly? I think so, right? I think that you could, you know, use this. Look, I'm 1500 and I still use this, right? Get your, you know, cut them off. I took a couple of pawns. These guys could promote. He's never able to challenge them. And once he steps onto the back row, this rook doesn't have to move. He's defended by the bishop. The king is cut off. He's only got these squares. I said when I was doing the thing, I believe that he had these, but he doesn't. He's only got these squares. So, and then that's checkmate. It's just a slow motion ladder mate. So, anyway, hopefully you guys learned something from that. If y'all like that, like, comment, subscribe, all the things. See, well, now it's adjusted his accuracy and said now that he's played 90%. So, like I said, I thought this guy played a really good game. I think that he got to the end there and had some trouble. But, you know, going forward, I mean, he played solid. I wouldn't recommend putting your knights out on the edge of the board like that, because also in this position, if you look, who's, you know, bringing this out forced a response from my bishop. So whose minor piece is better, my bishop or this knight? I had to drop back, sure, but I already had this ready. So when you come down, now your knight is looking at nothing. It's not looking at anything, and my bishop is just perfectly well situated here. If anything, it's in a better spot because it's out of reach of your pawns, and it's defended down here where you can't mess up my pawn structure. So, you know, that's not a great move. And then this move here is also, you know, just kind of, well, I mean, I guess, you know, yeah, really, I don't think that's good, because I just come back, and again, now look at your knights, right? So, anyway, hope y'all learned something. Like, comment, subscribe, all the things, and we will see you guys in the next video. See you guys.